Okay, so you want to heal naturally, but you keep reacting to natural healing supplements that you are taking. Now, that is so frustrating and counteractive, discouraging to say the least. And if you resonate with this, I'm preaching to the choir here. Now, if you've seen my video with Jeannie, you'll remember that I call myself the Queen of Herks because I reacted to just about everything. And if you haven't, I'll link it in the video description below so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It was really intense. And it can be really, really frustrating because you don't want to turn to medications, but when you can't tolerate certain natural methods or modalities, it could be really discouraging and you don't know what to do. And I know for sure that was the case for me. So today I want to share with you some tips which helped me relieve my symptoms from these reactions. I eventually did get to the point where I could tolerate things that I never could before. So if that is you, please don't give up hope. I hope that the tips that I'm going to share with you today can help navigate these waters a little bit more smoothly. So tip number 1, start with baby doses. Now, I had physicians and a natural health coach at the time who were very understanding of my situation, my sensitivity, and they supported my natural healing journey, which I was so grateful for. However, even some of the most intelligent health doctors that I had had at the time were no match for my own body wisdom. So if a doctor would recommend to me that I take a dose even of a natural medicine, and just knowing my own body, I decided to take a quarter of what that doctor had recommended to me. They would tell me the dose to take, and then pretty much I would say, okay, great, thank you. And then when I would get home, I would just take a way smaller dose than what they had recommended. And honestly, thank goodness I did that, because sometimes I still got a reaction on a quarter of the dose that they had recommended to me. So, yikes. For example, baby doses can entail even just 1 drop. And that's honestly how I started with the wild oil of oregano, or WOO. Even just 1 drop at first made me herks and get a reaction. So start small, see how you react. There's no rush to go hard and strong and then have things get worse. So just slow down and take it easy. And for me, I realized that my body slowly got sick. So I needed to slowly go into antipathogens and all of this stuff. Remember, you are disrupting the flora, even if it's bad flora. So this disruption is good in the long run, but still it's a disruption. And so it could cause this die off of symptoms. Now, tip number 2, be grateful for what you can and do accomplish. As you learn things about yourself and your body, you are gaining invaluable wisdom and insight. So reframe your thinking and be grateful for whatever your body can do, can tolerate at this time. I think we sometimes take for granted what our bodies do for us all day long, just naturally. So instead of focusing on the frustration of what it is like being that you can't tolerate certain things right now, be grateful for what it is and those small wins. And as we heal in layers, our body change. And I know for me, I was able to tolerate way more as I detoxed those pathogens out. So it was a process. Tip number 3 would be switch it up. So switching up combinations and remedies can be great, as you may find a winning combination. For example, when I used BPC 157 peptide, I actually used it mainly for my sinuses. So I opened the capsule, I didn't use a liquid form or anything, and then I just added them to my nose and nasal sprays and nasal irrigation for my severe allergies and sinusitis. This is where I noticed almost immediate results. So of course consult your physician, but don't be afraid to get a little creative and do your own research while consulting your physician. So my experimentation was primarily based on my health coach's suggestions, but also based on what I felt was right for me and leaning into the body wisdom and insight that I had gained. So this is how I also found out, which ingredients I could and could not tolerate, and then what ingredients actually worked for me. So this leads me to my next tip, which is tip number 4, to take a closer look. So looking at why you couldn't tolerate blank supplement or treatment is actually very valuable information. And it could help you figure out what ingredients could be the possible, root cause of your reaction, as well as other supplements to avoid, which may contain those ingredients. For example, when I first took Mucosa Calm, I immediately reacted at first, and I could not figure out why. All of the ingredients were supposedly, so great for healing the mucosal lining, and here I was having all these negative reactions to it. But I was really determined to get to the bottom of it. So I decided to take the main ingredients found in Mucosa Calm all separately. And eventually I found out that slippery elm was the cause of my reactions and diarrhea. I also learned that marshmallow root really helped calm everything down. So I started with this at a small dose at first, and then slowly worked my way up until I added the slippery elm back in. And I now tolerate Mucosa Calm just fine. But at that time, all of the ingredients at once together was too much for me. Tip number 5 would be go with the flow. As we flow into this tip number 5, it's important to recognize that healing, again, is a process. Life changes, our bodies change, and as we uncover these layers of our healing journey, your perfect regimen may change too. So see what your body needs and go with that. Many different times in my own healing journey, I could tolerate certain things, and then at other times I couldn't tolerate them. There's just so many factors that play into that, including emotions and our environment. And this is where Jeannie's laser tapping tool could really be impactful, because it allows you to tap into your body to see why you are not healing, helping you gain valuable insight into this process. Now, tip number 6 is release trapped trauma. So when you've had extreme reactions, trauma comes with the territory. I remember having almost like PTSD from past reactions so much that I would almost create more reactions because I would throw myself into this negative mindset and victim state. And when a reaction did start, then I made it 10 times worse by panicking because of the memories of past reactions. In these cases, again, I utilize Jeannie's laser tapping. And I say this because I personally practice both meditation and laser tapping daily, and it's been a really crucial part of my healing. And as Jeannie mentioned before, it's been the cornerstone of her being cured of Crohn's using only natural methods for over 25 years. So I really encourage you to try a free session with Jeannie, see how it feels for yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and link all that in the video description below for you. Now, every time I decided to introduce something new, I actually tapped on it before consuming it. I tapped to let go of past reactions, the fears I had, to stay in the present moment, and if a reaction began, I tapped that much more. I tapped so it wouldn't be so extreme, and I asked my body why it was responding this way and what I could do to assist. Now, tip number 7 would be, when consuming and introducing something new, be aware of your overall state of being. Your environment has a huge effect on you. So if you are introducing something new in a stressful environment, it's very unlikely things will go smoothly. If I needed space to see how my body responded to something, and there were, too many people around or something like that, I would literally hop in my car and drive to a peaceful place. That way it was clear whether what I was consuming was causing the reaction, or if it was just the time or the environment I was consuming it in. This is very important to distinguish. Our bodies can't properly digest unless we are in a calm state of being. You should salivate before eating, be smiling or laughing with friends if at all possible. That type of thing then puts you in the correct setup to digest and assimilate well. So imagine taking an antipathogen in a stressful state of being. It's basically a setup for failure, in my opinion. For example, during the shutdown response to the pandemic, it was so hard to go out and eat with friends. So I made it a point to call a friend before or while I ate. Or sometimes I would take a break from work to watch a silly show during my lunch, making sure I was smiling and laughing while I watched that funny TV show. And so all of that helped calm me to digest my food and supplements. I like to try something that, if I have a reaction, I like to try it 3 different times. I try them at different times, different environments, or even at different times of the day to determine whether I'm indeed allergic, reacting to it, or just reacting to a bad environment, something else. Then I know it's the product and not any external factors. But again, do what your body tells you to do. I hope you enjoyed our video today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any questions or comments, please let me know below. Until next time, happy healing, and always listen to your gut.